Idaho Matters is brought to you in part by St. Luke's Pharmacy, now offering free home delivery. For daily medications or one time prescriptions, home delivery is easy to set up. It's convenient and safe. St. Luke's Pharmacy, now delivering to your doorstep. Information on how to get started at stlukesonline.org.
So you can't see this, but hopefully you can hear it. Behind every Boise State Public Radio podcast is a team working hard to bring you stories that matter. So if you value podcasts like this one, please support them. Hit donate at boisestatepublicradio.org. Thanks.
More Idaho Matters now from the studios of Boise State Public Radio News. I'm Gemma Gaudette. All over Southern Idaho, volunteers are growing native seedlings and then planting them everywhere, from burn landscapes to pollinator gardens. They're members of the Native Plant Network, and they're part of the Golden Eagle Audubon Society, which works to not only conserve bird habitat, but to restore the land after a fire or neglect. The Society is spotlighting the Native Plant Network at their first annual Bluebird Jubilee, a Larson Legacy fundraiser, which is coming up on April 25th. Cynthia Wallace is the executive director of the Golden Eagle Audubon Society, and she's joining us today, along with Danae Fales, their stewardship coordinator, and Libby Adams, who's a volunteer. I want to welcome all of you to the program. Thanks for joining us today.
Hello.
And Cynthia, let me begin the conversation with you. Can you tell us about the society and what it does?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having us, Gemma. The Golden Eagle Audubon Society is a conservation and education organization, and we cover Southwest Idaho. And we have three emphases in our organization: education, conservation, and advocacy. And we advocate for birds throughout all the things that we do. And this particular event and what we're going to be talking about is focusing on our conservation efforts.
Danae, how did you get involved with the Golden Eagle Audubon Society?
I was brought on board as a part-time staff member to lead the Boise River Rewild project back in 2022. And as part of that project, we were growing native seedlings back then to be planted out along the Boise River. And we've continued to strengthen our growing through the Native Plant Network. And I've stayed on board too.
And Libby, let me bring you into the conversation. Tell us about you becoming a volunteer. How did all that happen?
Yeah, coming out of Leadership Boise, I knew I wanted to give back to the community. A native Idahoan and a long-term resident of Boise, wanted to make sure that my family enjoyed the beautiful environment that we live in. So found the Golden Eagle Audubon Society through the volunteer work I did with my son's Cub Scout pack. Learned about the Native Plant Network and haven't looked back. I have been planting native plants since 2018.
So, Cynthia, talk to us about the Native Plant Network. What is it? What does it do?
Sure, yes. The Native Plant Network started in 2017, and since then we've grown 78,000 plants. And I'm going to defer to Danae because she is overseeing that program for us.
Thanks, Cynthia. Yes, the Native Plant Network has been around almost 10 years officially, but starting out by growing about 2,000 seedlings per year of about only six species. And since then, we've ramped up production to an average of over 10,000 seedlings and closer to 50 species that we grow and provide for our partners. We have about 14 partners this year that have requested over 15,000 native plants from us to be planted out on their own public land projects. Mm-hmm. Some of our partners, some examples are the City of Boise, Idaho Fish and Game, Deer Flat National Wildlife Refuge, and Bogus Basin, and of course, Golden Eagle Audubon Society. So we have tons of plants And you said we like Libby, we have a variety of growers that are
Mhm.
volunteers. We have 75 people right now with trays of seedlings at their homes that they're taking care of and watering every day and watching for sprouts. And a lot of them are already sprouting and looking good.
Danae, why is it important to make sure to grow plants that are native to Idaho?
That's a great question. A lot of people we're usually drawn to growing things that are pretty, but pretty plants don't always provide the same benefits to our native wildlife. So besides birds that need native berries, and they need native trees that have provide good cover for them, we have plants that provide for native pollinators, and those pollinators become bird food too. So really, providing for the wildlife in Idaho requires the plants that will support the wildlife. And so the more we can increase our native plants, the better we can support our birds and other
Mhm.
wildlife.
And Danae, you just mentioned pollinators. My understanding is you've been working on a new pollinator garden. So can you talk to us about that and again, why that's important as well?
Yes, Golden Eagle Audubon. We're stewarding the Mary McGowan Pollinator Garden. That's part of the city of Boise property. And we've been working in that garden for a few years, but it's um, a great story of an area that used to be covered with goat heads and invasive species, and with the plants from the Native Plant Network and a lot of great volunteers, that area is becoming a really wonderful spot to for people to visit, but also especially for pollinators and wildlife.
And Libby, let's talk more about volunteering. What is it like to volunteer? I mean, how much time do you have to give? I mean, if someone's, thinking about it, can you kind of walk us through what that looks like?
It is so easy and it's extremely flexible. I work full time plus, I am raising three children, and I picked this volunteer opportunity because the flexibility it allows. You can also bring in your family members to help. It's a really nice event for my kids as they're being raised in Boise. Danae makes it extremely easy. She has a volunteer form. We go in February and pick up the trays and the seeds, and then it's up to the volunteers to plant the seeds on our own time. I'm in the phase right now, as Danae mentioned, where my seedlings are growing. And so there's time on the weekends where I'm taking the seedlings and putting them into the larger cones. So I spend about 30 minutes a day ultimately going and volunteering, but it's in my backyard. So very easy to do.
And Cynthia, let's talk about the Jubilee. When and where is it?
Sure, yes. The Jubilee is this Saturday from 10 to noon. It's at the Albertsons corporate office. They have an atrium there, and they're allowing us to be in there to have this Jubilee, which is a celebration of one of our founders, Al Larson, and his conservation work. So we'll celebrate him with mimosas and treats and things and watch his video Bluebird Man. And then we'll debut our very own film of the Native Plant Network. And we're really excited to announce that. And we'll also
And
be, oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, we'll also be honoring our first Bluebird Award recipient.
And tell us about that.
Yeah, so in the past, the organization has had an award that they give sporadically. It was never really named, and it wasn't very defined. And so, excuse me, this year we had a volunteer step up and ask to make it more of a presence in our community. And so we solicited names for a Bluebird award and received some nice sentiments back. And so we're very excited to unveil that first award.
And Danae, before I let you go, do you need more volunteers for the Native Plant Network?
Yes, we always have something growing or waiting to be grown with the network. Right now, as our seedlings are getting a little bit bigger, as Libby mentioned, we're transferring them into larger pots or containers. And so all throughout May, we have a handful of events, and we welcome anyone. No experience is necessary, but we just use careful hands to transplant the seedlings into bigger pots. We'll be out at Coomba Park for those work days, and you can sign up on our website, goldeneagleaudubon.org, to join us for those.
Well, I want to thank all three of you for taking time to talk with us. We've been speaking with Cynthia Wallace. She is the executive director of the Golden Eagle Audubon Society. Danae Fales, she is their stewardship coordinator, as well as volunteer Libby Adams. Now, the society is spotlighting the Native Plant Network at their first annual Bluebird Jubilee, a Larson Legacy fundraiser. It is coming up on April 25th in Boise. And of course, we'll put more information on our website for you as well. And thanks so much for listening to Idaho Matters from Boise State Public Radio. Do you have thoughts about today's episode? Make sure you email us at idahomatters@boisestate.edu or reach out on our socials. If this podcast has become a part of your routine, can you tap 5 stars and leave us a review? It helps us stand out.
You know, every day on Up First, NPR's Golden Globe-nominated morning news podcast, we bring you 3 essential stories. At the heart of each story are questions. What really happened? What really mattered? What happens next? At NPR, we stand for your right to be curious and to follow the facts. Follow Up First wherever you get your podcasts and start your day knowing what matters and why.